With the discussion about Dan Lanning and Lincoln Riley, I just think that like in order for Dan has to have some just crazy managerial skills because if you're having unlimited resources for recruits, and let's say a recruit, got a bag, but then during camp he doesn't win the position, and so now he has, that internal clock going about how he's not getting on the field. He received this bag, somebody ahead of him he may, in his eyes, may not think deserves the starting job. So I think that when it comes to all these recruits getting these bags without, performing on the field yet, that kind of is going to be shaky waters because you're going to have to deal with a lot of just off field things. But I feel like with USC, they're trying to avoid that, and by like having a process, a healthy, way of running a program. And I had like an analogy, like if parents had a toddler, and one parent is offering carrots and vegetables to keep the baby healthy, the toddler healthy, but then you have the other parent offering all kind of candy, all kind of candy. Who do you think the baby's gonna go to? Who the toddler's gonna choose? He's gonna choose the candy. And is that healthy? No, that's not healthy. That's gonna cause all kind of problems down the line. That's just analogy that I came up with in like last 10 minutes. And I just think that with Lincoln Riley, he's trying to develop a program where he avoids that. Players come in that want to be a USC Trojan. And I think that like that's a better long-term development of a program. And I know Dan Lanning and Oregon, they're doing all that thing, unlimited resources for Uncle Phil. But I just think they have to worry or have to be aware of those type of situations that probably will come up, behind the scenes. And another thing I wanted to talk about Coach Henning. I recently saw that interview he did, and it was powerful. And one of the things I'm worried about is like how militant he is and how strict he is. Would that scare kids off? And I know he talks about developing relationships and stuff like that. And I just feel like if you're hearing him talk, I've only heard him talk a few times. So these kids get to hear him talk all the time. Like, would that be a deterrent for a kid? Because he's, what I'm saying, and in some way thinks that his the expectations are going to be too high. Because I know other places have strict coaches and stuff like that. But, like, it just baffles me how two defensive linemen decommit from him.
Well, okay.
I'm just like lost because I don't understand.
Let me jump in because you're making a very, very valid point. But let me go with so I'll start with your last point. How do you lose two defensive linemen? You lose two young men who are at the top of the food chain that play defensive line in the state of Georgia, who committed sight unseen. Actually, that scene they did. They came out on an unofficial visit where they really don't talk NIL. So I don't think NIL had a whole lot to do with it. But they came out here, they saw what USC had going on, and they talked to the man you're talking about. They talked to Coach Henny, and they're like, I want to play for this guy. And you're talking about two kids who grew up in the backyard of Georgia, a program that's putting guys into the NFL like some of us, eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They just throw guys into the first round in NFL. And their emotions say, yes, I want this, and blah, blah. And then they go home for 3 or 4 months, and they go, why are you going all the way out there, away from your family, all the way out to California? You don't know what this defense is going to be like. Sure, it might be really good. I mean, I think Lynn's really good. But look, have you watched our defense? Have you seen what we do here? Why on earth do you go all the way to California for that? And over time, young men start going, yeah, why am I doing that? I mean, I guess I could stay here. But what you got to look at is you made two of the best players in the country go, I can see myself playing there. Even with everything I just told you. That's the part you need to hang on to. The story is USC's losing 5 stars left and right. They're hemorrhaging. USC is making 5 stars in the Kirby's backyard think about possibly flying 3,000 miles to play in California for an unknown defense. That's the real story. And that's what you got to stick to. That interview you watch, the guy on his left's Michael Brockers, who played NFL 12, 13, I don't know how many years, for years. And forget what he said about the practices. The way that man talked to another man, the way Brockers talked to Coach Henderson, that love, you could literally, you could script all the cool little lines and quotes you want. But watching that man talk to that man with that love and that respect, you want to talk about recruiting? That's your takeaway. Your takeaway is look at how that man is talking to that man sitting next to him. And we're not talking about some NFL rookie. We're talking about a guy who played at LSU and then played 12, 13, I don't know exactly, over 10 years in the NFL. And he's talking with love and respect to this guy. And one of the funniest stories he talked was, he's talking about, you going into a room with an Aaron Donald, basically the greatest three technique that football has ever seen and probably may ever seen. An undersized guy, by the way, all you guys that want 6'3", 330 pounds for your defensive tackles. And he's talking about in the film study afterwards, and they're laughing about it. He's saying, I remember that, coach, when you said to Aaron Donald, he said, yeah, hey, you made a great play there. I mean, you blew it up, but your gap assignment was over there. You know what I mean? He's calling a Hall of Famer out for making it probably, a sack or a tackle for loss, but he's a coach that's meticulous. He's saying, you made a great play, but you did the wrong thing. You were out of your gap assignment when you did it. That's the kind of detail. Him coaching up an Aaron Donald, same he is going to coach up any other guy, and not going to overlook it and not become a bootlicker, right? He's going to go in there and say, yeah, but that wasn't your assignment. You made a great play, but this is team football. So that's what we're looking for in your Coach Henne. And I think that this is year one. He has and also, how much relationship did Coach Henne have with those two guys who had probably been followed by Kirby Smart's guys since they were in middle school? Do you know what I mean? And you had him thinking about going 3,000 miles to be coached by Henne. These are the things that make me salivate. These are the things where I'm going, holy shit, we got something here. So, Matt, I don't know if you want to. Sorry, I'll probably talk till 10 o'clock. I could talk till 10 o'clock about Coach Henne. I've been like this close to the guy, and this is man love right now. Huh?
Okay, can I piggyback what you just said though about Henne?
Oh, for sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So what I see in him this year as a defensive line coach with like the incoming recruits, I feel like, normally you don't expect freshmen to contribute, but I'm saying we bypass that, right? Because of Henne's development, his technique work and scheme. And like, let's say that just offsets a kid's experience, that you have a strategic and a scheme that will work with young players. You get them on the field, even though they may make mistakes. But I think that more players are going to be available to play with Henne and his development than the whole defensive line from last year. I mean, there's plenty of players on the defensive line that didn't even touch the field, like Pepe and Sam Green. You can name about a handful of players that were dressed and ready to play last year who just didn't get on the field to contribute. And I just feel that with Henne and his ability to tap in to these players and get the best out of them, that even though they may be young and people think, okay, our defensive line is thin, well, maybe it will be thin of veterans, but if you combine everybody, let's put in the young players. Let's put in these freshmen and get them experience their first year. Maybe they will make a couple mistakes, but they're out there getting experience. I think that kind of offsets the whole, oh, we're so thin at this player, and like I'm expecting Carlon Jones to come in and contribute. That's a big boy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that just for us having young players come into this year, this program as a freshman, that can like nullify having depth on a defensive line, right? Including them into the rotation.
Yeah, 2 words for you. If you want to talk about a young guy coming and learning a system and learning a coach and Henne, Kobe Turner. You know, the guy almost won Rookie of the Year. I mean, that's the effect that he can have. And you already brought Carlin Jones, but I started jotting down, you know, what are you going to have with, you know, a Kobe Pepe who played good ball at Bosco? People make fun of him and say it's Kobe Pepe time, whatever. You know, he's a Division I football player that you know is waiting his time. Let's see what Coach Henning can do with that. You know, Nate Clifton coming over. You know, he's not a small guy. They can move him inside. They talk about Lucas being versatile. He can come on inside. It's not like there aren't pieces there. And I like you brought all that up. You know, I think that it's going
Right.
if in this situation, I think you are perfectly positioned to have and be grateful to have a guy like Coach Henny, because this is how he can show you the difference he can make on a program. So again, on that, I'll leave it because I know we're past our 2 hours. We've been here for over 2 hours. You know, Rick, we really appreciate you calling in, but I think it's time for us to tap out.